educational. I'm learning.
It is educational.
My head's expanding.
I think we need to get a grant. I think we should apply for a grant.
For a grant?
Yeah. And then buy musical gear with it.
Well,
and go on tour.
Speaking of album covers, remember all these wacky album covers? Like, there's some sick album covers out there, man. You know, like really weird looking album covers, like that Orleans album cover. Like,
the Naked Men album.
But they're all shirtless. Like, what is this all about? You know?
I think that was the vain 70s. That was the 70s were the chest hair decade, weren't they?
I guess so. Yeah.
The hirsute decade.
Yep. And
the funny one.
This film made Robin Williams look like a baby.
There was some weird Chicago album cover, and the record may have been called Career Suicide or something. I don't know.
Hot Streets. It was their disco album.
It's called Do Over.
Like, there's some weird, like those weird Hall & Oates album covers, you know. Like,
now, do you have any examples?
Can I say one that disturbs? Well, not disturbs me, just stupid. Grand Funk. We're an American band. You flip it over. They're in the hay, totally naked, but they don't even look like they're into it. They're just like this. Hey, we're naked. Here we are. Okay. Yeah. It's like
there was something going on there. I think, Hall & Oates were trying to, like, that was an art director, and that wasn't their decision.
Right.
Yeah, they said
that androgynous glam cover they did.
But they may have had to approve it, depending on, they may have had to approve it, right?
Yeah, I think very few is done without saying some kind of approval.
Yeah.
But there was one where I think John Hall was naked, and maybe not Darryl, but John Hall was naked in some gatefold cover.
Weird, man.
In some of those Christian evangelical bands.
Oh, yes.
Let Me Touch It, whatever it's called. Let Me Touch It.
There was one where, these are like probably from the 60s, where a bunch of guys in suits and records called Let Me Touch Him. That shit's just weird, man. There's some weird album covers, like.
I mean, granted, as pious as they may be, do you think one of them, they weren't going like, okay, let me touch him.
Right. A lot of those Christian
you can touch him tomorrow, but I'm going to touch him today.
Yeah.
And also, Prince's Love Sexy. It's just a bad cover.
What is that? I'm not a Prince fan, so I'm not familiar with
this. Picture me naked now, okay? He's like this.
My eyes hurt. My eyes are hurting.
Can't be unseen. It burns.
So what is this Prince album cover? It's like he's naked on the cover?
Yeah, I was doing the pose. He's like leaning back, like kind of angelic, kind of like he's splayed out on something.
Like that Billy Squier pose?
Well, we're not talking videos here. That's a whole other story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's Kevin Rowland from Dexy's Midnight Runner.
He's
in a semi. It's a semi-drag thing, but I don't think the reason he also didn't help himself. But they had the big hit, but he was saying things like David Bowie's nothing compared to us. He was doing these weird quotes, almost like Terrence Trent's Darby, where he did. The album came out and he had some hit singles, but
that was a solo record.
Yeah, but when you say that you're the most important artist in the world, or you're more important than someone who has been considered one of the most important artists in the world, you got to back it up.
Now, I also read.
No, that was Kevin Rowland, I believe.
Kevin Rowland. Now, I read that he played Glastonbury and was getting pelted with bottles and many other things.
Really?
Who?
The guy who was the lead singer of King Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah.
He had a couple of solo records, and one of the solo records, he's on the cover. He's in lingerie. He's in ladies' lingerie, and and he played Glastonbury, and I guess it didn't go over very well. And
no,
oops.
And was it because of the album cover? I mean, I don't think it was an expression of his sexuality or anything. It's just for some reason out of nowhere you got to tart yourself up like that, and people are gonna. I mean, whatever that might be different today. Like I said, a lot of things would be different today.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think there was any explanation for it, any kind of real reason. Like
right?
Okay, it's just I'm going to dress up like a bird or something. But
right. This was in the 80s. Yeah.
But I think whenever you make these pronouncements, those definitely pompous pronouncements. Same with Terrence Trent D'Arby. He's kind of he was trying to be like a bit of a flash in the pan in some ways.
Why? Who was? I mean, I've heard of Terrence.
Wishing Well was his big song.
He put out a great debut album, a really good debut album. And what did he say, Louis? The Beatles, right? Involved.
Something. I mean, more important, more vital, more relevant. I mean, it was just very hubristic.
Very cocksure.
Very cocksure. Yes,
it's too bad.
That should have been one of the album titles of one of those things, Mark.
But today
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the social media, with the, you could, Instagram, TikTok, whatever else, too bad that wasn't around.
You know what? You know what shocked me that it created, because we all grew up with seeing. It's funny, the old movies with Bob Hope where they would dress like women.
Yeah.
The Queen song, "I Want to Break Free." They were doing a comical tribute to an English soap opera. They all dressed like women. It ended up getting banned from MTV, whatever. But it was a major hit. They went to Brazil or Colombia, somewhere in South America, and Freddie didn't know. Don't dress like a woman in South America, and he got destroyed. He was having stuff thrown at him too.
Really?
He was like, what's going on?
Take the stick out of your ass, man. Monty Python, kids in the hall.
Intended.
Right.
Yeah. It was just, but you never know when you make these decisions to do things like, Kevin Rowland or Queen, like what it's going to go back at you. And,
Yeah.
Speaking of album covers that are weird, did you ever see the album cover for Al Cooper's Act Like Nothing's Wrong?
No.
My sister used to have it. He superimposes his head on his girlfriend's body, who was a model.
So
you see a sexy Al Cooper and the legs folded just right. But on the back, she put her head on his body.
Oh, so, I didn't see the back cover. Can we go to the jazz world? Herbie Mann.
What kind of
it's just him and his upper torso. He's a jazz flautist. But it's just like, I mean, what are you thinking? Like, what is it?
Yeah, who's the art director?
Or was this guy? I think it was the age of like male, macho, hairy chest. Like, this is what the ladies want.
Wow.
Before Nair.
And he came out with a great album called Push Push.
That's the one.
Yep. And he's got, is that a whip in his hand? Something over his shoulder. No, it's a flute.
I saw one album cover where it had like
it's a cat o' nine tails.
It had like 5 guys in lingerie and bras, and like what is this, man?
You know who lost a lot of fans when Ambrosia did that album where they went totally commercial? They sounded like the Doobie Brothers. They had that soul sound. I forgot the name of the album, but on the cover, one band members, they're all holding the one guy in the middle. They're all just holding him. And they went from being like a prog band to that, It's a great album though.
No, that's when they were in pop.
Yeah, good pop.
How much
McDonald
I feel.
Pop. Yeah, that's the album,
yeah. Now, I never knew they were a prog band until I saw someone. I was YouTubing prog. I saw Ambrosia. I'm like, why are they here? And I clicked onto it. I'm like, holy shit.
Nice, very nice. Yeah.
Ambrosia.
It was some heavy stuff, but then they had those pop hits, kind of soft R&B pop hits.
Doobie, like the late Doobie
biggest
Brothers.
part of me. Biggest part of me. Yeah.
Don't sing that in prison. Huh?
That's one of those prison songs, right?
You're the biggest part of me.
Yeah, I can't unsee this Herbie Mann album because I'm a jazz fan. I just
can't
unsee it.
It's terrible.
I'm shutting down my Internet Explorer.
There's some freaky album covers, like Lou was saying about these Christian singing groups. Like there's a bunch of sisters,
perverted titles. The titles are all sexual. They're deliberately sexual too. They're a bunch of weirdos.
It's pretty strange, man. Mark, were you telling me that?
Let him touch me.
Were you telling me that